Big ideas, expansive projects, and ventures that expand your life in new ways. On December 12th, we're going to have this new moon in the fiery sign of Sagittarius. Now, this is a great time for some really big ideas, expansive projects, and these ventures that are going to expand your life in ways that you never thought about. Your optimism is going to be very high. This new moon in Sagittarius, it marks the beginning of this new cycle. The last year's new moon, it was in Sagittarius, was a solar eclipse, and since then we've learned a lot about what our needs are. This new moons, they always represent fresh starts, clean slates, new beginnings. They're a time of when the sun and the moon align together in the sky. And this new moon, it's in the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. This is going to be a time when we can focus on some of these constructive traits of the sign of Sagittarius Archer. Now, this includes being more optimistic. It's about being enthusiastic, more adventurous, honest, outspoken, and independent. We can focus on goals that are going to increase our awareness and understanding. This new moon is going to offer an opportunity for more courage to expand your horizons, to gain the confidence that's needed and optimism from a broader perspective. All too easily, we can also get lost in the details of everyday mundane existence. So with the fiery and expansive energy, we can look forward to help nurture our faith, our hope, and our optimistic vision. Now, because Sagittarius thinks in these very big terms, I want you to use caution, because some of you may have a tendency to overdo some expectations. This new moon does form a square with the planet of illusion, Neptune. So use caution and be aware of any forms of deception from others. This is also self-deception and possible procrastination. I encourage you to also focus on something that you can accomplish quickly due to Mercury stationing retrograde on the very following day of December 13th. Welcome, I'm your astrologer Patricia Tate, and this is your December 12th, 2023 Sagittarius New Moon Astrology Forecast. So let's dive in. So for Aries Sun and Aries Rising, this new moon is occurring in your 9th house. Now, the 9th house is the house of foreign people, places, things, higher education. It's about it's cross-cultural experiences. It's the house of long-distance travel. It's where you take a class or you become a teacher. It's the house of law. It's the house of adventure, legal matters. Now, Aries, for you, the sun rules over your 5th house of fun, pleasure, joy, children, art, music, creativity, and the moon rules over your home. So we have this new beginning, this fresh start beginning with something that has these themes or these flavors to them. Now, I want to include Mars in here because Mars is your ruler, Aries, and it's in a close conjunction with everything that's happening. This means you wanting to initiate something that has to do with your body, yourself, your personal well-being. And it will include something that brings you pleasure or joy or creativity that's also connected to your home. Now, remember, I did say that there is this square, the square to Neptune. Neptune is the planet of illusion and dreams. Squares are opportunities that the energy comes together and it has to be integrated. And so with your 12th house of these are my dreams, these are also, it's hidden enemies. The 12th house is where we have these intuitive, it's our personal unconscious. It's the house where we withdraw and we need to sit alone and figure some things out. It's where we go to retreat. It's our, so think about your wishes, your dreams, things that you are not sharing with other people, being in some kind of a clash or some kind of a contrast. Now, a new moon, fresh start, beginning for you is where the meaning is to examine possibly your belief system. Remember that the 9th house is where we take classes or workshops or we dive into different religions or different spiritualities. The energy of this house is going to be very expansive, and it represents your views on religion, different types of philosophy, higher education. since it's also governing your long distance travel or foreigners, and it can also include your in-laws. So take some time at this time and reflect on ways that you can bring your personal spirituality into your everyday reality. That has to include your home, things that bring you joy and pleasure. This could be children or some form of creativity. Or remember that the 5th house is things that personally bring you joy, and initiating it, going after it, because Aries, this is your ruling planet. Mars is conjunct this new moon. This is about you saying, I have to initiate this. The new moon here is also going to give you an opportunity to say, I need to focus on what brings me pleasure, and possibly connecting up with like-minded individuals and expanding your horizons in some way. And this could be taking a trip, taking a class, a workshop, and this could be you studying or teaching something new. This could also have to do with work that you've published or something that has to do with law or legal matters. So Aries, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my year ahead forecast or January's forecast, and look for specific transits according to your sun, moon, or rising. I encourage rising sign. I invite you to join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I offer consultations for a new moon or full moon readings. And for an in-depth reading of your chart, please schedule a private reading at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Taurus Sun and Taurus Rising, you are having this beautiful new moon, and it is in your 8th house. For you, it's the house of shared resources. It's the house of shared resources, money, contracts, anything that you have together with somebody else. The 8th house can be your debts, your obligations, anything that links you to somebody else. It's joint affairs. It can be taboo topics. It can be alimony, child support, cash, property, anything, literally anything that you share with somebody else. The 8th house is also the house of sex, or where we desire these deep connections with other people. Now, the sun rules over your 4th house of your home, your family, your roots, your connection, or people that feel like family. This is the foundation of your chart, your life. Now, the moon rules over the way that you communicate. This is your 3rd house of communication with people that you associate with on a daily basis. The 3rd house is also where we share and exchange ideas. It can be writing, journaling. It could be travel, short distance travel, and classes and workshops. Now, Mars is here. I want to bring this in because it is in such a close conjunction. This rules over your 12th house of your dreams, your intuition. It's where we go to rest and recover. The 12th house is the house of meditation, and where we go for rest and retreat, where we go to withdrawal. Now, there is the square to Neptune in your 11th house of what are your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, who you connect up with in order to manifest those things as you move forward with this new moon. So you have this new moon intention of, I want to connect up with these people, and I want to have these shared bonds with them, or these connections with them. And it's about, what do we have in common with a transformation and a rebirth of our relationship together. It's identifying possibly where have you had negative habits and letting them go, letting them die off, so you can create these new positive ones to move forward with. The 8th house is intense emotions, and power play can be here. This can be triggered with a new moon intention of, I need to let some of these things go in order for me to move on with a clean slate. I do want to hit on Mercury stationing retrograde the very next day. So you wanting to start these new moon intentions that have to do with building a solid foundation with somebody that you are connected with, either a joint venture or that you have these shared resources. This can be shared resources that you are no longer with that partner, meaning like alimony or child support. And so this is you looking at a solution of how can I move forward with this new moon intention of what do I want to initiate? What do I want to start? What do I want to bring forward? With Mercury stationing retrograde the very next day in your 9th house, this will have you going back over, I wanted to go there, I wanted to travel here, I wanted to have these connections or take this class or this workshop, but now I need to like possibly put it on pause. Or it could say, I want you to go back and reevaluate that class. Mercury retrograde is always a reevaluate, relook, renegotiate, re-something. And so whatever you are initiating now, there's going to be this where you're going to go back and relook at or reevaluate it in the future as you move forward with this new moon. So Taurus, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my other videos that are specific to major transits for your rising sign. I invite you to join me live Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. And for an in-depth reading of your chart, please, you can schedule at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. For Gemini Sun and Gemini Rising, you are having a new moon in your 7th house of partnerships. So the Sun rules over your 3rd house of communication, who you communicate with on a daily basis, and the moon rules over your 2nd house of your self-worth, your cash, your property, and your personal resources. Now, a new moon in the 7th house is offering you a new opportunity to connect up with a significant other, a friend, the 7th house is the +1 house. It is the house of love, contractual agreements. The 7th house is where we have our marriage partners, our business partners. The 7th house is negotiation, cooperation. It's also open enemies and exes. So you're having this new moon here. A new moon is going to be this opportunity for a fresh slate, a clean slate, an opportunity for a new beginning that will have a new way for you to communicate, being optimistic and open-minded in order to make you feel better about yourself, including your self-worth, your 3rd house of how you're communicating. Now, Mars is here. Now, Mars rules over your 11th house of these are your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, and who you're going to connect up with. And so the 3 of these planets together are initiating and pushing forth what you want to begin with a significant other, or whether this is a business partner or a significant other, or it could also be a best friend. So in your new moon in the 7th house is about partnership. It's your intimate relationships, and where you're going to be reassessing what are your personal needs and the needs of others. You're going to be working through your issues of individuality and where you need intimacy. This is the house of partnerships, but it can include your best friends, and it can also include clients. It's your one-on-one relationship with people that you work with, that you have contracts with. Now, this is going to be a time for you to look at where do I need balance or where do I lack balance, and how do I find this? Now, the very next day, Mercury is going to station retrograde. Mercury is in your 8th house of your shared resources, where you have these contracts. It is the 8th house of deep bonds, and it's the house of taboo topics and personal matters. And so I want you to know that whatever you are initiating at this time, when Mercury stations retrograde, it's going to have you looking over any of these contracts, any of these bonds. It's going to go back through your 8th house and then back into your 7th house. So you may start something now, and you may go back and reevaluate a contract that you have with a business partner or significant other. This could be with a marriage partner, with writing your a contract before you would get married, or a business contract that you would write for you to be moving forward with. When Mercury stations retrograde, it's going to have you going back over these contracts more with a realistic approach to things. Because Sagittarius is so optimistic and so this is faith driven, this is going to be an opportunity to say, I need to go back and re-look at some of these things. Remember that this isn't a square to Neptune that's at the top of your chart, so this could have something to do with your career or a business partner or your contracts that you have with clients. And so this has you fuzzy or dreamy about, yeah, this can work. But this square says, how do I integrate this? How do I make this work? Well, when Mercury stations retrograde, it'll go back over this, whatever you are starting, and then say, I'm going to help you make this more realistic. I'm going to offer you the opportunity to go back over it and be more crystal clear with what you are initiating now. All right, so Gemini, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out the videos that are specific to major transits for your sun, moon, or rising. I encourage your rising sign. I invite you to join me live on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer full moon and new moon astrology consultations live. And for an in-depth reading of your chart, you can schedule a private reading at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising, this new moon is occurring in your 6th house. The 6th house for you is your daily service to others. It's where you take into consideration your mental health, your physical, your psychological, your spiritual health and well-being. It's your service to others, but having to find a balance and take care of yourself first. The 6th house is where we find a mentor or a guide. It's also the house of pets, and so this is going to be a time where you're going to need to initiate some self-care for yourself. The sun rules over your 2nd house of your self-worth, your cash, your property, and the moon rules over who are you. And so together, this is initiating, I need to focus on me. I need to focus on my self-worth, my body, my mind, my spirit. Now, I'm bringing Mars in here because it is in such a close conjunction to this new moon that you're initiating, and this will have something to do with your how you're seen in the outside world. It's your 10th house. The 10th house is your career, your public life. It's your life path. And so this is going to be you saying, I need to set some really good habits for myself in order to move forward with. Now, there is this square to Neptune. Remember that a square is something that has to be integrated in order to manifest it for its best and highest good. It's where we have difficulty. So you're wanting to start something for yourself, but Neptune in Pisces is spiritual and it's dreamy, and it's in your 9th house of connecting to foreign people, places, and things. And I want to travel here, and I want to take this class, and I want to take this workshop, and I want to connect up with these people, and it's about legal things, and it's about publishing. And how do you integrate and start all of these new things? Well, you're going to have to set the priorities for yourself first. Remember, it's connected to who you are and your self-worth, and in the house of your daily habits. Now, I want to also bring in one more thing. Mercury. Mercury is going to station retrograde the very next day. Now, it's already been in shadow for the last 2 weeks, so it's giving you heads up of something that you have to pay attention to that has to do with partners, relationships, your 1+1 with clients, or your business partner, or your significant other, or your best friends. The 6th house has to do, the 7th house has to do with also your contractual agreements, your partners. It's also where we negotiate, we have cooperation, and it has to do with open enemies and exes. So know that Mercury is going to slow down, and then say, now I want to review this contract, or I want to think about having this person in my life. then it will slowly go back into your 6th house of your daily habits. And this could be through you speaking to a mentor or a guide or something about whatever it is that you are initiating for your best and highest good. So you're going to be initiating something. Mercury is going to say, wait, I don't know if I agree with all this that has to do with partnerships and business and work. And then it's going to go back into your 6th house. So whatever you're initiating, when Mercury goes back into Sagittarius, it will have you reevaluate these new moon intentions. I say put them out there, but also you have it with rose-colored glasses, knowing that you're going to go back and fine-tune and tweak it. Maybe that exercise program is not something that's sustainable, and maybe you need to have a study buddy or a work associate or somebody who either works out with you or helps you to be held accountable for your actions as you move forward. All right, so Cancer, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my December and January ahead forecasts for your rising sign for the major transits. I would invite you to join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. And if you would like a private reading, you can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Leo Sun and Leo Rising, this new moon is occurring in your 5th house. The 5th house for you is the house of what brings you personal pleasure. It's children and art, music, creativity. The 5th house is the house of affairs. It's the house of investments. The 5th house is romance and hobbies. It's where we take risks. And so you are wanting to initiate something to start new. Now, the sun rules over who you are. It's your appearance, your power, your self-expression. And the moon rules over your dreams, your intuition, your psychic abilities. It is your 12th house of your subconscious mind. It's your connection to the spiritual realm. So we have both of those things starting something new with you creating something either with children, about children, or tapping into your inner child. I want to bring in Mars here because Mars is in such a close conjunction here that there will be something that you are initiating that has to do with, I want to travel there. I want to take this class. I want to dive into this spirituality. I want to take this workshop. I want to connect with people who are like-minded, and this could be cross-cultural experiences. Now, this is where you're going to want to initiate something. Whatever it is, it's about tapping into your inner child and bringing this out. And this could be going to the movies. This could be going to the theater, sports events. This could be anything that you are looking at, what it is that will make you feel good. Now, there is a square. The square is to Neptune. It is in your 8th house of your shared resources. Squares are opportunities that you have to learn to integrate something before you move forward with it. It's a 90-degree angle. So Neptune in Pisces is about dreams and intuition, and I'm feeling this and I want to do this, but it's in your 8th house of your shared resources. So you're wanting to initiate these things, but there's something with other people's money, other people's resources that needs to be worked out. The 8th house is also the house of taboo topics and sex. And the 5th house is also the house of love affairs. So there could be a topic that has to do with wanting to connect with somebody on more of an intimate connection, and in order to move some things forward, with this new moon intention being, I don't want just this, I want more. And what does more look like? Now, Mercury is going to station retrograde the very next day. Mercury is how you communicate, travel. It's in your 6th house of your balance between your work and your home and your daily habits, and it's your mental, physical, spiritual health, well-being, and are you taking care of yourself? When Mercury stations retrograde, it gives us a heads up of where do we need to put ourselves first. This is also the house of finding a mentor and finding a guide. So going back over and saying, maybe you need to go back to the counselor. Maybe you need to touch base with that mentor or that guide that was in your life to say, hey, can I run some ideas by you? Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Now, this could be your spiritual sisters, or this could be your like literally it could be a counselor or a mentor, but this will have you tuning back into what you want to initiate. Whatever you are starting here, when Mercury moves, when Mercury stations retrograde, it will have you review and rethink and go back over some things that have to do with your daily habits, and then it's going to go back into your 5th house of joy, fun, and creativity. And so maybe you might start something and say, I need to finish this before I move on to this. I'm not saying not to start something, because starting something and in the 5th house is being very optimistic about it. When Mercury stations retrograde, it will bring a new realistic approach to whatever it is that you are initiating and starting, so you can, when it does move forward, it will have you moving forward with more of a realistic idea or attitude of, this is more sustainable in order for me to have success with what I am starting or beginning. So Leo, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out the other video forecasts that are specific to major transits for your rising sign. I invite you to join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. I also offer private in-depth readings for your natal chart. You can schedule that at willowgracemystic.com, and to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Virgo Sun and Virgo Rising, you are having a new moon in your 4th house. The 4th house is the foundation. It is your family, your roots, it's your traditions, it is anybody who lives in your house, it is your ancestors, it is your personal life, it is people who share your past with you or who shape you on a daily basis. It can also represent your real estate and your property. Now, the sun rules over your 12th house of where you go to rest and retreat, where you go to tap into your dreams, your intuition, your ancestors through that have passed over. It's where you tap into other dimensions, and this could be ancestors that have passed on, or angels or guides, or the Akashic records. Now the moon rules over your personal hopes, wishes, dreams, and who you connect up with in order to manifest those. And so you're putting into play your dreams, your intuition, things that you want to do to create this solid foundation of what does home look like for you, because it's changing and it's evolving. A new moon in the 4th house has you looking at, I need to declutter, I need to expand some things, I need to, this could be, I need to open up new energy. And if that means restricting certain relatives to who you are or in your home, this could be sprucing up your house, your bedroom, making it more welcome. This could be you diving into your genealogy and figuring out who are you and who are your ancestors. I do want to bring in Mars. Because Mars is in such a close contact here, it rules over your 8th house of your shared resources. So this will have something to do with jumping into taboo topics or wanting to have this close connection with somebody. The 8th house is people that you share resources with. This can be a business partner or this can be a significant other. The 8th house is where we connect with others on a deep level, or where we desire these deep connections with people, and we have these joint ventures that we share with others. And so there's going to be this opportunity of you wanting to start something new, dive into something new, expand your horizons. And what does that look like from your home base? It will have something to do with, these are your dreams, these are your hopes, and how do I connect to make a space for me that I can have like my own Zen den. I have a place where I can have an open area, but I can have a place where I can tap into my own self, like a private area of my own, where I can meditate and rest and recover from the daily grind of everything that's going on. Now, I want to bring in, there's going to be a square. The square to Neptune has to do with your partnership, your relationships, your significant, this is either business or best friends, or this can be open enemies and exes, but there will be something that has to be integrated. The 7th house for you is your 1+1 house. And so a square is, there's these, where we're at odds, and something has to be worked out in order for us to have this flow. And so this might be you wanting to bring your partner on board, or this could be, I need to find more of a balance with myself with a partner, or myself with my clients, or myself in relationship to friends. And what does this balance look like? Now, one last thing, Mercury is going to station retrograde the very next day. Now, the 2 weeks that lead up to it have been the shadow period, where you have gotten these heads up, or these inklings of what was going to happen, and it has to do with your creativity, your children, or these activities in which you want to tap into your inner child and work on healing your inner child. What makes you feel good? So Mercury stationing retrograde in your 5th house with this new moon is going to say, go ahead and set these intentions, and they're going to be big. And it's like, I know we can do this. I want to have a new home. I want to expand my home. I want to refurnish my home. And what does this look like? Or it will be something that will be with family, home, roots, foundation, or dive into your genealogy. And Mercury is going to station retrograde first in your 5th house of what brings you joy, and then it's going to come back into your house of home, saying, yes, these ideas were great, they were very optimistic, and now you're going to have to review, rethink about, redo, remodel, do something to go back in and tackle it before Mercury moves forward and goes direct. And so there's a whole other video that I'm going to put on that. I encourage you to set these new moon intentions and include these topics, but know that whatever you're starting, you're going to have this opportunity to go back and review them, rethink about them with more of a realistic approach as the weeks approach. All right, so Virgo, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out the other forecast videos that are specific to major transits for your rising sign. I would love if you could join me Tuesdays live at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. To schedule a private reading, you can do that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Libra Sun and Libra Rising, you are having a new moon in your 3rd house. So for the 3rd house for you is the way that you communicate, how you communicate. It's short distance travel. The 3rd house is who you talk and exchange ideas with on a daily basis. It's your relationship with your siblings, your neighbors. It is writing, journaling, spirituality, short trips, all of those topics. Now, the sun rules over your 11th house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams. It's who you connect up with in order to move forward with what you want to do in life. It's your organizations. It's who you join with creatively in order to manifest things that you want to move forward with for your career, your legacy. Now, the moon rolls over. It's the top of your chart. It is your career. It is your life path, your public life. Your 10th house is how people see you in the outside world. It is your boss, honors, awards. It is your public reputation. It's how you make your mark on society. So all of these topics are going into this new moon, this intention that you want to set moving forward. And so it's about, how do you use your brains, your thoughts, your ideas? How do you communicate with what you are thinking and what you've learned, whether this is through writing or verbally or your connections with other people. It covers all relationships with neighbors and siblings and people that you work with. And it also covers writing, journaling. This could be email, phone, text, computer, forms of technology. The third house is a new moon in the third house is you being able to take advantage of the extra mental activity that you're going to have at this time to take a class, take a workshop. What do you want to do? Set those intentions in order to move forward with. Now, I want to bring in that Mars is the ruler is Aries, and this is in a close conjunction to what you're starting. So this will have something to do with topics that have to do with partners, best friends, significant others. This could also have to do with clients or one-on-one relationships. This is all putting together with, this is what I want to initiate. This is what I want to start. I want to write. I want to journal. I want to communicate to the world my thoughts and my ideas. Now, what has to be integrated? Well, you have Neptune here in a square. Squares are these hard aspects that there has to be something that has to be worked out or integrated in order to move forward with. Neptune in Pisces is in your 6th house of your daily habits, your mental, physical, spiritual, psychological, health, well-being. It's where we have to take good care of our health. It's where we find a mentor or a guide. And so there might be something that it's the house that you can negotiate between your home and your work, and how do you find this balance? And Neptune here could have you being confused about a mentor or a guide, or taking care of your nutrition, your diet, self-care, or alternative health. And how do you still maintain this and work on what it is that you want to do? This could have you reaching out and saying, I need a new mentor, or I need a new guide, or I need to speak to somebody else other than, because it could be confusion about who you're talking to about, are you getting the advice that you want? Do they have your best interests at heart? Now, I want to bring in Mercury. Mercury is going to station retrograde. So Mercury is thoughts, ideas, communication, travel, and for the 2 weeks prior to this, it'll give you a heads up of what it's going to have you go back over. Mercury is in your 4th house of your foundation, your home, its genealogy, your family of who lives in the home with you, or it's your past or your personal life or your ancestors. So Mercury here has you saying, go ahead, I want you to set that intention. I really want you to do this. And then Mercury is going to slowly go back over something that has to do with your home. This could be remodeling something that has to do with home, or reconnecting to relatives that you hadn't thought about or didn't know about. And then it's going to go into your 3rd house of communication. How do I communicate my personal thoughts and ideas with this new information? You're going to set this new moon of what you want to do. And then when Mercury stations retrograde and goes back into Sagittarius, it'll have you reevaluating that your thoughts and ideas were very expansive, and it will have you narrowing some things down to make it a more realistic intention at the end. I encourage you to set the new moon intention with the ideas that career, and really what you want to do, and partnership, something with partnership, but you need to incorporate your daily habits and how are you going to do all these things with the way that you communicate, and then knowing that you're probably going to reevaluate this, you're going to fine tune and tweak it, and that's not a bad thing. It will make it more realistic, more stable in order for you to maintain over a longer period of time. All right, so for Libra, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my other forecast videos that are specific to major transits. I invite you to join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. I also offer in-depth readings of your chart, so you can schedule a private reading at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Scorpio Sun and Scorpio Rising, your new moon is occurring in your second house of your personal self-worth, your cash, your property, your resources, people, places, and things that you truly value at your core. It has to do with your movable property, your salary, your income, your possessions. The second house has to do with your work ethic, your self-esteem, your financial condition. So you are starting a new moon intention at this time. It will have something to do with your career, your public life, your public image, bosses, or the way that you make your mark on society, or things that you want to achieve and the people that you connect up with in order to make that happen. The moon rules over your 9th house of foreign people, places, things, travel, taking classes, workshops, and it's about cross-cultural experiences, diving into spirituality. It's also the house of publishing and law. So knowing that you're going to set your intentions of focusing on yourself and what do you need to work on for your personal finances, your personal resources, in order to feel safe and secure about yourself. Now Mars is here in a close conjunction. Mars rules over your 6th house of your daily habits. This is how you take care of yourself on a daily basis, how you volunteer, where you volunteer, taking care of your mental health with seeking a counselor or a mentor or a guide. And this is also your financial health. The 6th house is how you conduct yourself on a daily habit, your service to others with of how your self-care and alternative health, and what do you have to do. It's your balance between your home and your work, and how do you keep these things in check. Who do you speak to in order to make those things more easy for you. Now we talked about Neptune being in a square. Neptune is in your 5th house in the sign of Pisces, of hopes, wishes, dreams, spirituality, being very creative, either with children or tapping into your inner child with art, music, creativity, connecting with other people. The 5th house is affairs, and it's also how you express yourself by taking risks and what hobbies that you want to participate in. A square is going to be this opportunity of, I want to do this, and who do I do this with, and what are the risks I'm willing to take, and what risks does this involve for those other people. Now, the last thing is Mercury. Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde the very next day. Now, the 2 weeks prior to this, it's given you a heads up about types of communication that you might be having problems with. This is writing and journaling and traveling and things that are closer to home. The 3rd house also represents your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, and it's people that you network with on a daily basis, that you share or exchange ideas with. So this could be through classes or workshops or actual work. Mercury is going to station retrograde, so you're going to have this new moon intention that's really great and big and shooting for the stars. Mercury is then going to go through that 2nd house. It's going to go back through your 3rd house of the way that you communicate and back in through your 2nd house. When it goes back into Sagittarius, it's going to have you reevaluate this new moon intention that you're setting out there. There's nothing wrong with that. Just know that you're going to set this intention and you need to be open and willing to the idea that when Mercury stations retrograde and moves back into that house, that it will fine tune and tweak and make that new moon intention more realistic in order to move forward with at the end. So Scorpio, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out the year ahead forecast and the other major transits. I invite you to join me live on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. For a private reading, you can schedule at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Sagittarius Sun and Sagittarius Rising, you are having a new moon in your first house of self. I absolutely love this for you. This is your personality, your appearance. It's how you show yourself to the world. It's your happiness, your health, your vitality, your strengths, your habits. It's your identity. It's your demeanor. The first house is all about you. I say it's like your business card. It's who you are presenting to the world. It's your website. It's how you want other people to see you. So the sun rules over your 9th house of foreign people, places, things, and your connection to the outside world of expansive energy of I want to travel here, I want to go there, I want to publish this, I want to have this connection to cross-cultural experiences, I want to experience it. The moon rules over your 8th house of shared resources, of who do you do this with, and these connections that you have with other people. The 8th house is your values, your opinions, and that these experiences that you have change your values and your opinions. And the 8th house is your joint ventures, and it's the house of sex, and it's where we desire these deep connections. And so intuitively, you have this need, this desire to become all of this. Now, I want to bring in Mars is the ruler, because it's in such a close conjunction to the sun and the moon at this time. It rules over your 5th house. This will have something to do with tapping into your inner child, or something to do with your personal children. The 5th house is love affairs, children, investments, art, music, creativity, where you take risks. It's how you express yourself. It's hobbies. And so know that some of these topics will blend into this new moon intention that you're setting. The first house is it includes your physical body, your personal appearance, and this could be you starting this new project, setting these new goals for you, about having this burst of energy and feeling inspired to work on self-improvements that have to do with your self-image, your body. This is going to be a great month for you to say, I want to try a new look, I want to try an exercise program, I want to try a new haircut, I need to indulge in a little bit of self-love of who I am. This could be possibly a new exercise routine. I would encourage you to grab a partner. Remember that this will include something to do with like 8th and 9th, and somebody that will join you on some of these expeditions or these adventures that you are looking for. Now, there is a square. The square is to Neptune, with something that has to do with your home, your family, your roots, your traditions. You wanting to go and start and explore all these things, but something at home has to be integrated. This could have something to do with family, your foundation, possible traditions that you have. This could be father. This could be people that you have a shared past with, or that people that have shaped you. There could be something that that needs to be integrated in order to have success for this. I also want to bring in Mercury. Mercury is in your 2nd house of your self-worth. And so Mercury has you going back over some topics of, I need to do this for me. Mercury is going to station retrograde the very next day. The 2 weeks prior, it's given you a heads up of giving you ideas of its cash, property, resources, but it's your self-worth. The 2nd house is your skills, your talents, your salary, your income. It's who who you value and what do you value, and starting this new moon intention with putting yourself and your interest first at this time. Now, Mercury's going to station retrograde. First, it's going to be having you identify what are the most important people, places, and things that are in your life. And then it's going to go back into your first house of self. You're going to set this new moon intention for all these great expectations that you have and want to do for yourself that you're going to start off this new moon with. And then Mercury is going to have you go back over it. It will be like a relaunch of, in order to, it'll be a review, rethink, rewind, relaunch. You're going to have this new moon intention of what do you want to do? And when Mercury goes back over, it'll say, that was such a broad perspective. Let's fine tune and tweak it and bring it on down and make it more realistic, that it's sustainable over a longer period of time. And so know that you're going to be starting some things and they're going to be absolutely great and magnificent. Shoot for the stars. Do this. But also know that when Mercury goes stations retrograde, it will offer you the opportunity to fine tune and tweak and make them more realistic in order to be sustainable as you move forward with. All right, so Sagittarius, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my year ahead forecast videos on major transits, and I invite you to join me live Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. And for an in-depth reading of your chart, you can schedule a private reading at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Rising, you are having a new moon in your 12th house. So the 12th house for you is the personal unconscious or your subconscious. It's your dreams, it's your intuition. It is where we go to for rest and retreat. It's our connection to the spiritual realm. It's the inner world where we connect with the Akashic records, our guides, our mentors, angels. It is the shamanic. It is also where we have self-sabotage and we can clear karma. It is the house of institutions. It is the house where we need to set aside time for rest and recovery in order to move forward with, in order to pay attention to your dreams and your intuition. So the sun. The sun rules over your 8th house of your shared resources. This is people that you connect up with on a deep bonding experience, whether it be through marital, or this could also be business, because it's about alimony, child support, debt, taxes, people that you have shared resources with, and that can be marriage partners or business partners. The 8th house is also the house of deep bonding. It's birth, death, rebirth. It's the house of transformation. So know that this new moon in your 12th house is going to be offering you this opportunity for transformation. Now, the moon rolls over your 7th house of partnership. This can be business partnership, or it can be significant other, best friends, and it can be clients, like one-on-one relationships. So know that you're going to be starting this new moon intention and possibly clearing out karma and tapping into what it is that you really want with business partners, significant others, and people that you share contracts with. Now, the 7th house is also the house of open enemies and exes, and the 8th house is also not just the house where we share business contracts with each other. This can be exes with alimony and child support and debt that you share with other people. So it can be a good, or this could be an area of difficulty where you're having to set this intention and work through some of these things. Now, Mars rules over Aries, which has to do with your personal house, home, family, roots, foundation. It's literally your property, your traditions. It is what you build your life on, needing to set aside a time for rest, recovery, and retreat. Now, the square that we talked about, that is in Neptune in the sign of Pisces, with the way that you communicate with people on a daily basis. This could be with family, this could be with neighbors, this could also be with networks through work. The third house is where we talk and exchange ideas with people on a daily basis. So things that you're going through, there might be this tension point that has to be integrated. The third house is not only how we communicate, but it's also travel. So with classes and workshops, or getting to and from these things, that would be closer to home. So knowing that you're going to have to work out some of these, the way that you are sharing your ideas and communicating with these people on a daily basis. It's how you're exchanging these ideas. Well, now I want to bring in Mercury. Mercury is in your first house of self. Mercury is in its shadow right now. For the last 2 weeks, it has had you going back over things that have to do totally with you, your appearance, your self-expression, your attitude, your personality, your identity, your image, your power, everything. Mercury is going to then station retrograde, you saying, revamping, redoing something that has to do with your habits, your body, your image, your demeanor, you going back over everything that has to do with you. Then Mercury is then going to go back into your 12th house. So you're going to set this new moon intention, and it's going to be very expansive and like it's fiery, it's like mutable, like let's make this happen. When Mercury stations retrograde back into your 12th house, it will have you tapping back into your subconscious mind, saying, no, we need to look at what was hidden, we need to look at what was unseen. Your 12th house governs the place of confinement, and it's about spiritual retreats. It's also about hospitals and rehabs. And so this could be a time of going back and reconnecting to, what am I not doing for my best mental, physical, spiritual health and well-being as I move forward. This could be a time where you say, I have to set aside time to hibernate. I need to find a really good book. I need to tap into eliminating, what are my deepest fears? What are my desires? What are my dreams? I need to work on holistic health and healing for myself. A new moon in your 12th house has you not afraid to dive deep into the hidden realms of who you are. And when Mercury stations retrograde, it'll have you going back over some of those areas. And I like to think of it as remove the, like words, because Mercury is in retrograde, all of the words: reboot, remove, remodel, rethink, redo. And so this will be an opportunity for you to remove some of the burdens that you have been carrying with you, and to rethink some of your strategies as you move forward, making sure that you're setting aside time for yourself for rest and recovery. 2 more words. So for Capricorn, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my year ahead forecasts and the videos that are specific to major transits. I invite you to join me live Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. And for an in-depth reading of your chart, you can schedule at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Aquarius Sun and Aquarius Rising, you are having a new moon in your 11th house. This is your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, your aspirations, the people that you connect up with and network with in order to get to where you want to be, in order for you to connect with your social circle, your kindred spirits. It's your work partners. The 11th house is where and who you are connected to. This includes your peers. It's your social circles. So the Sun rules over your 7th house of significant other, business partner, your it's the 1+1 house. And so this can be you and clients. The 7th house is contractual promises or negotiations that you have with other people. The moon rules over your 6th house of your daily habits and taking care of your mental, physical, spiritual health, well-being, and where we find a guide or a mentor in order to support us where we are going. So a new moon in your 11th house really has you focused on networking, connecting with others, other groups. These could be humanitarian issues. This could be socially oriented groups where you want to get out and broaden the horizons of who you want to network with. The 11th house is an opportunity for you to join other groups, other networks, to travel, to connect up with. Now, Mars is in a close conjunction here, and this rules over your 3rd house. Your 3rd house is the house of communication, and this is neighbors and your siblings, your cousins, and it's also people that you share ideas with or talk openly with on a daily basis. This can be through your work or through neighbors, like talking to your next door neighbor, or family members who you would talk to with. And so all of this is bringing into setting this new moon intention of, I really want to do this, and I really want to network with these people. I want to connect up with these people that I want to build clients with, or I want to have this close connection with a significant other or a business partner. And I am searching out a mentor or a guide in order to support me with what I want to do. Now, the square is with Neptune in your your 2nd house. This is your self-worth, your cash, your property, your personal resources. Squares are opportunities of, they're hard angles that's the energy has to be integrated in order to move forward with, to have success. And so these are my personal wishes and dreams, and these are my resources, and this is what I bring to the table. And how do I integrate this? How do I use this for what I want to do? Something will have to be something will have to give, because the 2nd house is also about your opinions, your values. It has to do with dreams and beliefs. Now, Mercury is going to station retrograde. It is already in its shadow. The shadow period is the 2 weeks before this actual date. And so you're going to get this heads up about things that need to change. The 12th house is where you have these dreams. It's the intuitive house of your deepest fears. It's where we go for rest and retreat. And so Mercury is saying, look, I know you want to get out and do all these things and connect with all these people, but these are some of my fears. These are some, these are my desires, and I need to focus on my health, and I need to clear out this karma. Mercury is going to station retrograde the very next day after we have these new moon intentions. So we're going to have this new moon, and you're going to have these opportunities to connect with all these people, places, and things that are broad and expansive out there. And this could be like foreign people, places, and things. It's going to be beautiful. And then Mercury is going to go back into your 11th house. When Mercury stations back into your 11th house, it will have you reevaluating what groups you actually keep. It will say, it will be an opportunity for you to say, I'm now involved in this new group. I'm no longer interested in this. I'm ready to leave this. Or it'll have you clean out your Facebook groups, your Instagram, your Pinterest, your TikTok, it'll be, I no longer want to follow this. I no longer want to do this, because I have this this expansive energy of this new moon intention of, I want to follow this new path. And a new path means I have to create space. That means refocus, clean out the old. And so when Mercury goes into your 11th house, it will literally have you questioning or removing groups or networks with. Mercury in your 11th house will also have you focused on these intentions that you're putting out there and saying, let's look at it one more time. Let's reevaluate this and bring it in. Because maybe you are spread too thin, and when Mercury stations retrograde into your 11th house, it'll have you rein in or refocus in order to have success, in order to move forward with. All right, so Aquarius, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my year ahead forecast videos on specific and major transits that are coming up. I invite you to join me live Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. To schedule a private reading, you can do that at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe. So for Pisces Sun and Pisces Rising, your new moon is at the top of your chart. This is amazing for you because it has everything to do with you in the outside world, authority figures, how people see you, your public life. The 10th house is your career. It is your life path, your public life. It is bosses, honors, getting rewards. It's your reputation, it's your ambitions, it's things that you want to achieve as you move forward. It is how are you going to leave your mark on society. And so the sun rules over your 6th house, your daily habits, what you do, who you connect up with. This is through mentors and through guides and finding the right people that will help you get to where you need to be. It is balancing your home and your work and taking care of your mental and physical health and well-being. Now, the moon rolls over your house of pleasure and joy, children, healing the inner child from within, art, music, creativity. I love all of this together because it's saying, let's focus on my career. Let's focus on my ambitions and things that I want to do in my life. Now, Mars is in here. Mars is in a close conjunction and it's ruled by Aries. So Aries rules over your self-worth, your cash, your property, your own personal resources. This is you initiating what do you want to do to be recognized, to say, this is really what I want to do for my career. This is what I want to, this is how I want to be known. This is my legacy that I want to leave behind. A new moon in the 10th house is your career, it's your professional reputation, your social status. All of these things are going to be highlighted for you. Your achievements, your ambitions, they're also going to be represented here. And it's about a personal need for recognition, a concern with your public image of how do you look in the outside world? How do other people see you? Since this house is directly opposite of your 4th house, your home, your family, your roots, your foundation, it is representing your home and family. This is a good time for you to consider a balance between your home and your work life, your needs, and it's always a good time for you to check in with your relationships of people that are at home to make sure that you are not being all-encompassing and career-driven. Now, there is this square to Neptune. Neptune is in your 1st house of yourself, your personality, your image. So a square is an opportunity to integrate the energy. It's a hard aspect that something has to give. It's integrate the energy of Neptune in your 1st house is your power, your self-expression, your happiness, your appearance, your identity, your body, your general temperament. The 1st house is your habits and your desires. And there's this square of, I want to do this, but I don't want to give up this about myself. And how do I integrate all of this? Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's very intuitive. It's very watery. It's very flowy. And there's all this fiery energy saying, I have to go after this. And how can I integrate that into who I am at the core? Well, then we're going to have Mercury. Mercury is in your 11th house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, the networks in order to connect up with, in order for you to manifest what these things are. So Mercury in Capricorn, it's going to station retrograde the very next day. And so the 2 weeks prior to this, it's you feeling this energy and saying, okay, I understand this. I'm going to have to revise some of my hopes, my wishes, my dreams, my goals, who I network with, how I network. And so you will be clearly focused on finding a mentor, finding a guide, making sure that your social groups are exactly what you want them to be in order for you to have success for your career. When Mercury goes back into Sagittarius, that will have you reevaluate these new moon intentions that you're putting out there. So you're going to put the new moon intentions out there. saying my career is going to be this focus. I'm going to integrate all these ideas that we've discussed. And then when Mercury goes back into it, Mercury will say, is all of this sustainable? Let's go back, reevaluate, rethink, anything that has to do with contracts, anything that has to do with authority figures. It'll have you reviewing these new moon intentions that you're putting out there in order to make them more sustainable for the future. So you're going to make them, and then you're going to reevaluate them. So I wouldn't think of it as like this hardcore, this has to be firm and solid. Put them out there, but be flexible that you might have to reevaluate some of these. So for Pisces, I would love to hear about how this resonates with you in the comments below. For more, please check out my year ahead forecast videos that are specific to major transits. I invite you to join me live Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I offer new moon and full moon astrology consultations. And for an in-depth reading of your chart, you can schedule a private reading at willowgracemystic.com. And to get updates as soon as they're released, please subscribe.